Well, there goes week one of the NFL season, and it was a doozy. And when I say doozy, I mean flipping awful. Like terrible. It was terrible football. And we know going in that it's going to be awful football for the first few weeks because the starters are rusty and they don't play in the preseason really that often. So it's just terrible. I mean, there's only a few teams that I believe that came out to play and came out really strong. And one of those teams, I think the best team this week, this whole week was Kansas City and was the Baltimore Ravens. They really showed that they're ready to go and they're coming out hard and coming out fast. I really believe that Andy Reid was preparing for this game for a year because what he did against the Patriots was ridiculous and unbelievable game planning. Do I think the Chiefs are going to be that good this entire season? No. I think they're going to be great. I just don't think they're going to be that great. Are the Patriots going to be as bad as they were? No, of course not. Same thing with the Ravens. The Ravens, I don't think are going to be amazing like they showed on defense, but their defense is very good. Their offense has to catch up to be good, to be up to their defense's level to be a real contender. But we'll see what happens. And just to tell you, the dunce of the week or the most awful player last week was definitely Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had 4 interceptions and a fumble and didn't score 1 point for his team for the Cincinnati Bengals. Not a touchdown pass, not even handing the ball off to get a touchdown. That's how bad they were. It was ridiculous. He was awful. Do I think he's going to be as awful next week? No, because you can't go any worse. You just can't get any worse than that. It's ridiculous. It was just terrible. The football, the Jets were awful. Scott Tolzien of the Colts was awful. The Giants were terrible. Their defense actually played well, in my opinion, even though they let up 19 points. They only let up 1 touchdown, and they were on the field for, 45 plays in the first half? They were dead. The offense has to get their act together. That offensive line has to get their act together, and Eli Manning has to play better. I know he was under pressure a lot, but when you're that caliber of quarterback, you have to put something together, even if your offensive line isn't good. So that is a recap of week one. Now on to week two. I'm going to be picking 5 games like I did last week. And like every other week, all my picks are going to be in the description. I hope you enjoy it. First game I'm going to go over is the Houston Texans going away to the Cincinnati Bengals. Both of these teams put up huge stinkers in week one. It's really hard to call this game because they didn't really do anything on offense. You did put Deshaun Watson in, and I'm guessing he's going to be starting for the Houston Texans, and he at least got a touchdown for them. So, I mean, Andy Dalton did nothing. He was the worst player this week. It was disgusting. 4 interceptions and 1 fumble. Jesus Christ. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, you're a great regular season quarterback. Yes, I said regular season, commenters, not playoffs. Regular season. I understand. He's a terrible freaking postseason quarterback, but he's a great regular season quarterback. So I don't know what the hell happened. The Ravens do have a very good defense, but the Houston has a pretty good defense too. So I'm going to pick Houston. I'm going to take the 4 points, say thank you, Vegas, and I'm going to take that win and put it in my pocket. So Houston Texans take the 4 points just because they have a good defense, and Deshaun Watson and Lamar Miller, I think, have more upside than what I saw from Cincinnati last week. Next game I'm going to go over is the Oakland Raiders hosting the New York Jets. This spread line is hilarious. It's the biggest spread line of the week. It's 14 points. Oakland is giving 14 points. And you're like, that's too much. That's ridiculous. I don't even know if they had one. I think they did have one last year like that, but it's ridiculous. What the hell are they thinking? Vegas is right. You're definitely having Oakland win this game. They have weapons. If you put the top, I don't know, 10 players on both teams and you had to pick who the top 10 players are going to be on the field, about 8 or 9 of them is going to be on Oakland. That's not even a joke. I mean, you maybe put Leonard Williams in the top 10 if you combine those two teams. So you obviously pick Oakland. Then you have Derek Carr with Amari Cooper, with Marshawn Lynch, who was very, very good his first week, especially off a layoff of 2 years or a year and a half. He surprised me. He was very good. And you take the over in this game, which is 43.5. The Oakland Raiders are at least going to score 35. It's ridiculous. Like, this game is stupid. I mean, the Jets are going to put up a little bit of fight. They'll probably score about 10 to 14 points because Oakland Raiders have a bad secondary. But Oakland's going to destroy that Jets defense who couldn't do anything against LaShawn McCoy and the Bills offense. And Derek Carr is a much better passer than Tyrod Taylor. So he's going to throw the ball all over the place to Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper. So you take Oakland, you take the points, and you lay the 14 points. Oh my God, this is over. Oakland wins this game by 24. Next game I'm going to go over is the Seahawks hosting the 49ers. The Seahawks, bad game last week against a really good Green Bay Packers team. They also got kind of screwed by the refs. I still didn't think they're going to win that game. I think the Packers were definitely going to pull that one out. It should have been closer than it was. That block in the back to Aaron Rodgers was not a block in the back. It was ridiculous. But I still think Green Bay would have won that game. So it did matter in the game. Obviously, it would have changed a lot, but I think Green Bay would have definitely pulled it out. Anyway, you have the Seahawks hosting the 49ers, like I said, and the 49ers put up an absolute stinker. So they're a terrible team, and I'm scared because I want my Jets to be the first pick or the second pick, and the 49ers might be one of those teams taking that away from the Jets. So, yeah. On the second biggest spread of the week right now, the Seahawks are favored by 13 points. This is a hard one to call because I don't know if the Seahawks are going to score. I really think that you got to take the Seahawks in this game, obviously, straight up. And then you take the Seahawks and you lay the 13 points. The reason why I say that is because the defense still played well against the Green Bay Packers offense that is very, very potent and very, very good. So I don't think the 49ers are going to put up more than 7 points, which means the Seahawks, all they're going to have to do is put up about 20 points. At 21 points at the most, 20 points for like a push. So I think they'll put up 21 points against a San Francisco defense that doesn't do anything. So I'm definitely going to pick the Seahawks, and I'm going to definitely lay the 13 points because they're definitely putting 21 points at home versus the 49ers, who are terrible. Next game I'm going to go over is the Atlanta Falcons hosting the Green Bay Packers. By far the best game this coming week. I am so excited for this game. It's an 8:30 start on Sunday. I'm going to be watching the entire game because this is huge NFC implications. I know it's really early in the season, but Green Bay played probably the best defense in the NFC in the Seattle Seahawks. And now they're going to play probably one of the best offenses in the NFC in the Atlanta Falcons. These three teams, right, that I just named, with maybe the Cowboys, are going to be the 4 teams that are the top 4 teams in the NFC. And I can pretty much guarantee that. Like, that's going to be the top 4 teams. Maybe the Giants figure it out. Maybe someone like Tampa Bay can really do well. We didn't see them in week 1, and they're a potent team with a decent defense and a really good offense with really good weapons. But I think those are the safe 4 picks. Maybe the Cowboys drop down and Tampa Bay goes in, etc. Anyway, going back to the game, this is a really hard game to pick. The Falcons didn't play too well against the Bears. The Bears were pretty darn good. They were actually surprised me. The Falcons defense didn't really play that well, and I think all the experts are like so high on the Falcons defense. They're fast, but they're not technically good. They're not technically sound. They leave guys open. They weren't great, and they should have lost. They did have huge stops, but Jordan Howard should have caught the ball at the 1-yard line, and they would have punched it in, and that would have been game over with 10 seconds left. And they should not have won that game. Then you have the Packers, who were fortunate in the refs, obviously, but Aaron Rodgers played pretty well. The defense still played well against that Seahawks offense. I think the Packers are going to go into Atlanta. Right now, Atlanta's laying 2.5. I think Green Bay's going to win this game. I'm going to pick the upset, which I don't know if it's that much of an upset, but Green Bay's going to win this game. Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to throw all over that Falcons defense, like all over them. Ty Montgomery's going to be able to run all over the Falcons defense. It's all up to if Green Bay can stop the Falcons, which they weren't able to do last year. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I would take the over in this game. Right now it's 53.5. I think it's going to be around 58 points, somewhere around there. I think the Green Bay Packers win this game by about 3 points. Let's call it, 32-29. Yeah, 32-29. That's going to be the score. Green Bay's going to go into Atlanta. They're going to show their dominance, and they're going to show that they are the team to beat in the NFC. And the last game I'm going to go over is the New York Giants hosting the Detroit Lions. You got the Detroit Lions who played like crap in the first half last week against the Cardinals, and I'm like, oh, the Cardinals are going to win. My pick was right. I did so well. Blah, blah, blah. I really like the Cardinals this year, even though Carson Palmer sucks. You got Larry Fitzgerald. You got David Johnson, who did get injured, which is a huge, huge injury for them if he's out for a long period of time. And then they just crapped the bed. They scored, freaking the Lions scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, which I was surprised by, which I shouldn't be surprised by because they did it all last year. So I was just, I don't know what the hell's going on. And Matt Stafford in Matt Stafford fashion just came back in the fourth quarter. It's just that simple. So they played well. They scored like 35 points, and they're a pretty potent offense. Matt Stafford makes every throw. He's living up to his contract so far in week 1. But, I mean, there's a long way to go in this season. And then you got the Giants, who did nothing on offense. Looks like Eli Manning has PTSD every time he hikes the ball. It's not his fault. His offensive line is terrible. It's not just Brandon Flowers on the left tackle. It's everyone in that offensive line. And then you got no running game because you have 2 coaches that are offensive-minded coaches, that one obviously being an offensive coordinator and one being Ben McAdoo, who's a QB coach and a wide receiver coach. So what do you expect? They're not going to run the ball ever. And then you got OBJ injured with a high ankle sprain, which is a high ankle sprain is painful and it's hard for him to make cuts. I don't think he's going to play next week, which is a huge deal. Brandon Marshall wasn't involved in the offense whatsoever because Eli Manning has no chemistry with him because he didn't play at all in the preseason together, pretty much. And then that's it. I mean, I don't know if it was the play calling not going to Brandon Marshall or Eli Manning wasn't looking to him, but it was ridiculous. So I don't know what to do here. So the Giants are home. They should win this game, but I'm not going to say they are. I think the Lions are going to win this game because I don't think OBJ is playing, which if he does play, that's a big difference. But I would guess he's not playing. So I would, right now, if you were to make a bet, the Giants are favored by 1. I would take the Lions. I would take the 1 point. Say thank you, Vegas. I saw nothing from the Giants that believes that they're going to do anything on offense. The Cowboys' defense is not that good. They're good, not that good. Not 3 points. Holding your offense to 3 points good, even without OBJ. So I think the Lions are going to run all over them. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I would say it's going to be about 20-7. And my final pick of the week is going to be my Survivor Pool pick, which I think is the most logical, safe team to pick in the Survivor Pool without using a really good team this week because it's still early. It's still only the 2nd week. So for straight-up Survivor Pools, I say the Ravens versus the Browns. You pick the Ravens at home because they're playing the Browns 1. They're not a good team. The Ravens defense played really well last week against the Cincinnati offense, who has a better offense than the Browns do. And you're not using a team like the Raiders or the Patriots where you want to use them later because those are really good teams, and the Ravens have a harder schedule coming up. So getting rid of the Ravens now is safe and logical. Well, that's it. That's my video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I went 8-7 straight up last week and 7-8 against the spread. Week 1's usually a toss-up anyway, so I'm not taking it too harshly. I usually hit my stride week 2, so we'll see what happens. And I think I'm going to do really well this week and for the entire season. I say I'm going to be about 60% against the spread this year, and that's my goal. I got about 56% last year, so we'll see what happens. I'm so excited to watch week 2's games. The best game being Green Bay versus Atlanta at 8:30 on Sunday. Definitely watch that game. I hope you guys enjoy your week and have a great weekend of football and awesomeness. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can click here. If you would like to see my last video, you can click here and comment below. Thank you so much for watching.